I am Sharon Davis. I am a co-show. Do y'all know what a co-show is? Compliance Safety Health Officer. Probably y'all dealt with co-shows walking in saying, "Hi, I'm OSHA co-show," right? Well, I'm the same thing, only I do my work with a smile and I don't have a citation book. Yay! Okay, so I am an occupational safety manager, though, for Elwood Staffing, which is my true job. What we're going to talk about today is our worksite evaluations. Now, I want you to stop and think about, how many do worksite evaluations? Okay, is it just a hassle? I mean, what a time drain, right? Let me tell you, my BDMs and my salespeople who do worksite evaluations had that kind of attitude. And I quickly had to remind them that this document, from a safety standpoint, is a legal document that is going to protect the company for years and years. What you are doing on this worksite evaluation is you are documenting for safety to use in representing us to OSHA whenever they walk in. When OSHA walks in, they're going to want to know, what due diligence have you done? Can you prove that you're placing your associates in a safe work environment? How can you prove the training? What did you approve? The worksite evaluation should be a checklist of questions that you are actually documenting every single one of those. What job specific are you approving? And you know, that's key, because if you ever have an accident that you have to stand in front of OSHA and go, "Oh my gosh, you know, we didn't approve a forklift operator. We only approved, you know, a machine operator or warehouse or assembly." This document right here is your proof that you never gave approval, authorization for them to move your employee. Now that's key. That will get you out of so many citations, because if you were not notified and told about it, they can't find you at fault. Okay? They can find you at fault if you've approved your associate to work in a machine where safety standards were not to par. Machines, machine guarding. Here's some clipboards up here if you need them. First of all, there is some prep work before you do a worksite evaluation. How many, a new client calls them up, and like Gaylord calls me up and they said, "Hey, I need security guards." I'm like, "Cool, you know?" And I look them up on the internet to find out everything that I possibly can about the Gaylord, right? I want to get as familiar. How many do that? I mean, you should. You shouldn't walk in and go, "Now tell me what you do." You know, that's not going to be a good meeting. So doing a little work ahead of time is critical. Well, when it comes to a worksite evaluation, we want you to do a little prep work as well. Now, keep in mind that there's two things that we're looking for: the host employer responsibility and the staffing employer. OSHA requires that employers provide a safe work environment. Okay? Now, we're an employer, right? Staffing company's an employer, okay? So the employer, being the host employer, is responsible for creating and maintaining a safe work environment. That worksite evaluation is going to verify they're doing it. You see how that relates? It's all about OSHA compliance. Now, responsible for providing any necessary training and performing your worksite assignment tasks, your JSAs. The host employer is responsible for doing that. So when we're interviewing our new partner, we're making sure that our checklist asks these questions. And we're going to demonstrate how that looks with my team here, okay? Responsible for logging injuries. Have that conversation ahead of time. You don't want an injury occur and then say, "Now you know you're going to put this on your OSHA log." Oh no, that's your employee. You know, it goes on your log. You don't want to have that conversation. So no secrets. You want it all out on the table. Now, our responsibility, here's the host providing a safe work environment. Our responsibility as an employee is to provide our associates a safe work environment. Got it? they're providing it, we're providing our associates a safe work environment. So we both have a dual responsibility for providing a safe work environment for our associates to work in. Okay, the worksite evaluation is what's going to document and how we made a good business decision in placing our associates here because of the worksite evaluation. The documentation is key. You know, OSHA, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. Okay, so we're responsible for verifying that the work environment is a safe work environment, worksite evaluation. We're also going to verify and make a good decision on whether to place those people there if it's something that we can do. And we're also going to follow up. You know, OSHA doesn't say just come in and verify it's a good working environment, but do things change? Yeah, do environments change? Do jobs change? And also we need to verify that training took place. So follow up is key in the worksite evaluation. You got to do it, you got to document it, and you got to follow up that things remain the same. Got it? This is where you got to say, got it. Got it. Okay. So, so they say, determine that this is a safe employer. Well, how do you do that? And so there's a couple of documents that you want to try to achieve getting. One of those is your 300 logs. Your 300A summary is how you're going to figure out their incident rate. That's a report card. And the incident rate tells us how safe they're working their employees. We consider 10 and below doable. If it gets over the incident rate over 10, we start asking additional questions because we've got to ensure we're placing these associates in a safe work environment. Okay, so we use the incident rates and we always get 3. We see if the trend is going up or going down. Okay, so of course the formula remains the same. It's the incident rate is total number of injuries times 200,000, divide that by total man hours worked. The second thing we look at is the EMR. You know, the EMR, the experience mod, and you're saying, well, why do we ask for their EMR, Sharon? Because, I mean, we're not affecting their EMR. You know, if they make the wrong placement, we could be affecting their incident rate, right, by placing people that aren't good fits, and that's a selling point, you know, because a lot of times clients will go, well, why are you asking for all this stuff? Nobody else is asking for this stuff. You should look at them and say, that's a red flag. If you don't have people coming in here asking these questions, that should be a red flag. Making the wrong decision and placing, you know, people that aren't asking these questions could cause your incident rate to go up. Our goal is to keep your incident rate down and even reduce it. And at the same time, the partnership comes in because we don't want our experience mod going up, our work comp insurance going up, right? And so that's where the partnership comes in. We place them in a safe work environment. They keep our EMR down. We keep their incident rate down and hopefully even improve it. Got it? The next thing that you want to do is always, always, always go to OSHA.gov. OSHA.gov should be your best friend and pull up, this is what the OSHA compliance officer is going to do. This is their database. Pull up the data and do an establishment search. That's going to pull up any citations they have ever had. Okay, if they've had citations, it's going to tell you whether it's serious, willful, repeat. Here in the blue highlight, click on it, and it's going to tell you exactly what the citation was for. When you go and have a conversation with your newly going to be partner, okay, you need to have a conversation with them regarding, tell me a little bit about that 2014 machine guarding citation. There's 2 things that you need to document on your worksite evaluation in the notes section or somewhere, that you had the conversation and this is the corrective action. You always want to document that corrective action, because OSHA's going to come back and say, well, what about their 2014 machine guarding injury, 3-finger amputation? Well, this is what happened. And tell them what you've discovered based on what they've told you and what the corrective action is. Now, when you go out on the floor and you do your worksite walk around, you're looking to make sure that these corrective actions indeed happened. Got it? All right. So, at this point, I'm ready. You think I'm ready to talk to this client? Okay? Always make sure that you're dressed for the occasion. Okay? Don't go in spike high heels if you're going to go out on the floor. Have some steel toes or what have you, or at least closed-toed, but dress the occasion. And always make sure you're in front of the right audience. How many times we go in and we're dealing with HR, when you get to this part of the worksite evaluation, if you start asking these questions, you're going to frustrate them, you're going to irritate them, and you're going to get shoved out the door because they don't know these questions. So always say, are you the person who handles the risk and safety for your department? No, that's Joe. You think we could get Joe in here? Yeah, Joe, get in here. See? Don't be in front of the wrong audience. So at this point, hi, I'm Sharon. Thank you for meeting with me. And you are?
I'm Mai Harrison.
Mai Harrison.
Yes, I'm the Executive Director of Security for Gaylord National.
Awesome.
And I'll tell you a little bit about our department.
Please do.
I will. We are 125 strong. I have 65 on-call officers to handle special events. I have 52 full-time officers, and I have 9 leaders. We have a half 500,000 square feet of convention space here, and we have 2,000 hotel rooms. We have one of the largest security forces of any resort on the Eastern Coast, including anything in New York and Orlando. We have 807 cameras to monitor the activity just here at the hotel. All of my 125 officers are certified with first aid, AED, CPR. If any of those lapse, I take them off the schedule. They're not allowed to work until they're certified. On property, we also have 9 AEDs, and each of our officers and the leaders are all certified in AEDs. But we also have each of our supervisors, their AED, CPR, and first aid instructors. I do that to make sure that during our briefings they cover some small element, and it doesn't have to be anything that's really important, but something that if we don't do it right can cause a problem. So we believe in safety first, and we want to make sure prevention is right there. No matter what we do, we know that we can do it safe and we can prevent an injury. And we also have duress alarms on property, and we use those in strategic areas where if something is to happen, if there's money involved, the person who's involved, if they have an encounter, they can hit that silent alarm. It goes right to our dispatch. We have personal alarms on our housekeepers, our bell services, wow, our marketplace employees. So if they have an issue, they can contact security and make sure that we can get help to them. We also have duress alarms, AEDs. Oh, we also have emergency blue lights in the parking lots.
Oh.
Okay, if we have an incident that occurs in a parking lot, all you have to do is go to one of the blue lights, pick up the phone, and it goes right to our dispatch, and we can get someone out to you. We believe in safety first.
Can we be a partner?
You most certainly can.
Don't you just love her? Wouldn't you like to walk into a scenario like that and go, please be my partner? Oh, my. Thank you so much.
And I'll tell you a little bit, if it's okay, about 1 minute
Sure.
about our staff. I am retired from the FBI. I come to you with 37 years of law enforcement experience, 10 years in local law enforcement, 27 years with the FBI. My final assignment there was over the security division, where I had 2,900 employees working for me. When I got here, I wanted not only the best, but the brightest. So we have 8 of the best and brightest that I could find in the security world. Most of them have law enforcement experience.
Wow.
We also have those with hospitality experience. We want to blend the two. And I have with me today our trainer, Patrick McBride.
Patrick, hi. Thank you so much for taking the time to come meet with me today.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
I'm exciting people.
And I'm going to have Patrick talk to you a little bit about our training program.
Great.
All right.
Thank
you so much. So once our new officers are hired, we immediately give them 90 days to complete CPR, first aid, and AED certification. I myself am one of the instructors. We want to ensure that our officers are trained and ready and prepared to service and respond to any type of emergency, whether it's for our guests or our stars. We look forward to also providing full training with any type of security interactions with our guests and our stars as well. We have what we call the JTCs, Job Training Certification Checklist. And during that time, we're going to walk through every single step that our officers may have to perform any type of duty on a daily basis. We ensure that our officers are ready, trained 100%, whether it's using any type of equipment, whether it's driving any of our patrol vehicles, anything at all, any type of equipment that our officers are going to have to handle. We ensure that our officers are ready and prepared to respond.
I tell you what, and so am I having a conversation? So don't go in with the checklist and go da-da-da-da-da, check, da-da-da-da-da, check. Have a conversation, and you will find in this conversation you told me so much that you probably answered everything on my checklist. Okay? So please let me work for you. Please. And so we talked already about the scope of the job and what it entails. We talked about the job description. We talked about the training. In the event of an injury, what is your protocol?
Absolutely. Any injury that has to be reported to our safety service offices immediately. If that star injury, it has to be reported to us. And I do apologize. When we say star, we mean employees. But for our guests, any injury at all, our officers respond, whether we render aid or not. We document the activity. If there's a call out to emergency services, that unit number, officer's number, badge number, any information from that incident is documented in the incident report and is put on file. From there, we also forward the information over to our claims department, Marriott Claims Department, and they get a copy of our incident report. We review footage. We may collect the JTCCs to see what was this employee trained to do, what exactly took place. With 800+ cameras, it's very easy to find out exactly what happened.
I love cameras. I love cameras. So it's like, pull the tape, right? I love cameras. So we will also be doing an accident investigation. Hopefully we can do it together. We'll share all of our information with you. Of course, our goal is to get it to stay a non-recordable as much as possible. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right, so some of the things that we want you to look for on our walk around are electrical hazards. Anything on that?
No, we don't have any.
Okay, so fire hazards, we want you to look for any fire extinguishers. Are they mounted? Are they where they're supposed to be?
Absolutely. Are they in place? Absolutely.
Perfect. Machine guarding. If there's any machines that they're going to be dealing with, I mean, there might be something in the kitchen that they might be working around, and we need to make sure that security guards are aware of it. So, okay. And so strains and sprains. If part of their job requires them to bend or lift, we always want to make sure that what they're doing is in the lift zone, between the shoulders and between the knees. If it's not, then ask additional questions like, what kind of lifting aids do you provide? And you can even make suggestions. What about those scissor lifts that they automatically come up and down? What about adjustable tables? So you're always wanting to keep that things that are going to be lifted in the lift zone between the knees and the shoulders. Guaranteed, if they start doing this, you're going to have injuries. So always address that up front.
I can.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we also have what's called JSA's job safety analysis, and so for strains and sprains, those are among our top 3 injuries that we have. So each department here has specific JSAs that are assigned to their department. Each year, and with each new employee that comes on board, they have to go through the JSAs.
Awesome.
So we do
awesome. That. Great. Thank you. And so we have a documented JSA.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so that's another good thing of collection, actually, when you're talking, is because you want to send any individual fully prepared with as much information as possible. So job descriptions, JSAs, those kind of things are awesome.
So the JSA is being completed, but then it sounds like you're having the employee also complete a JSA themselves after they've been trained?
Yeah. The JTCCs are the job training for the specific position, but the JSAs, the job analysis is what they have to do. Stand, sit, move,
right.
Lift. We actually take them through a course of that particular activity, and we as the leaders of the department have to verify that they actually did it. We show them how to walk, and we actually watch them walk. Go up the stairs. They have to go up the stairs. Lift. I have to actually observe them do that.
That is awesome. Awesome information. And so having an ongoing conversation and clarification, is always good. If they're dealing with any chemicals, what kind of chemicals? Where are they kept? What kind of training?
Absolutely. Any place that we have chemicals on property, we have an eye wash station. We actually have 30 eye wash stations on property, and we make sure that along with the eye wash station, we have an SDS book. There's an SDS book at each of those locations, but down at my safety service office, we have a master list of all the chemicals that are on property.
Perfect.
We have them in English, but we also have a number there so that if a person speaks a language other than English, we can dial into that number and they can translate for us.
Awesome. Awesome. And what about slips, trips, and falls? When we're walking around, I want you to keep an eye out for slip, trips, and falls. That would be water on the floor, puddles. It could be electrical cords. It could be pallets. It could be paper. It could be straps. So anything in the pathway, because the pathway should be kept clear. Okay, so anything in the pathway that could cause a slip, trip, and fall needs to be noted.
Absolutely. And again, trips and falls are among our top 3 as well as strains and sprains. And we do the same thing. We follow the JSAs and we respond to all slips, trips, and falls, and we do incident reports. If it's a serious incident and they seek outside medical attention, of course, we have to report that. But if it's a minor incident, we do incident reports on those as well.
Perfect.
Because it may come up serious later, or someone can claim that the injury is more serious than it is, and we have it documented from the beginning.
Perfect. And document in these kind of cases is so critical, because 3 months from now, something might come up and you're not going to have the information. So what this partner is doing is preparing for whatever, which is perfect. Any type of things that could cause a cut, like if they're using a box knife to open boxes or cut straps or anything like that, making sure it's a good safety cutter.
And I agree with you. And we also have first aid kits at each of our areas. We have 12 different kits around the area. If someone goes in to receive Band-Aid or anything, they have to come to us to do an incident report, because even though it's something minor, we want it reported.
Perfect.
On an average annual basis, we do about 3,000 reports. And that's not just injuries, that's everything.
Everything. Yeah.
But we make sure that whatever happens on this property, we have it documented, so that a year from now, if you come back and say, did you know about this, or did you do this, or what happened with this, we have it recorded.
Perfect. Perfect. Man, my job's done. All I have to do is get them here, right? This is perfect. And of course, anything that may cause burns or skulls, we want to identify those on the walkthrough and have any additional conversation.
And thank you. And what we brought with us is a copy of our emergency procedures. We put that together that we give to our clients so they know exactly what it is that we do. The nearest fire department, the nearest police department. What our emergency protocols are. When the alarm goes off, what did you do? What do you do? So we provide that information.
This information is so critical. So the more data that you can collect, the more documentation, the more that you can share and prepare your associates for the job of a lifetime, is gather this information, get it in their hands so they can have a great start. Okay, so remember, collect that data. Okay, are you ready for a walk? All right, well, that was fun, huh? Did y'all enjoy going behind the wall? All right, so what questions do you have? Let's look. We went for a walk, so let's quickly look at what questions that you might have. What did you see? What did you see? Anything that you have any questions on? I think there was an extension cord question. Okay, so I noticed that there was an extension cord, and I know that it's probably temporary, but can you tell me what the action would be on that?
Absolutely. First, identifying what exactly is that extension cord going to. Is there some type of protocol for that? There we go. Absolutely. So it's identifying what is that extension cord connected to. What is this power source? What is it going to? What is it supplying? From there, removing that extension cord if it's improperly stored, which of course it was at that point, unplugging it, speaking to the department master, whoever's responsible for this equipment, getting it removed immediately.
Thank you. So that is not normal. You're trying to get, is that normal SOP? It's not. They had a situation. They're addressing it. Good. That's a good thing. The little water in the floor, that's a situation. If I had looked up and seen it dripping, that would have been a problem more than a situation.
Not the laundry so much. The laundry, water there is maintained. What you see primarily are the ice machines. So as they're moving ice from one location to another, some will get on the floor. And so we were in an area where those ice machines are used. And we do walk those areas to make sure that they get those squeegeed up.
Yeah, and I imagine that your part of your training would be like, you watch out for water on the floor.
Absolutely. And that's why you see the wet floor signs all over the place. As soon as we see water, we put the signs out and get someone over to clean it up. I saw another hand. Yes, sir.
I didn't see any emergency eye wash or showers. Are they available to you and your team?
Oh, absolutely. We have each of our eye wash station also has a shower component to it, and so yes, they can be utilized right there.
Any other questions? Give them a big hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing us to share with you.
I got new best friends. Oh, y'all are awesome. I think we make a pretty good team, huh? Yeah.
Love your enthusiasm.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so. All right, so not a lot to find, but did y'all find that interesting? Going behind and the things to look for? Fortunately, we came up with a really good property to do that with. I've done that before where I would say, probably not going to staff here. So, okay, so we've done our site evaluation. We've documented, we've made a decision to move forward. It's so important to make sure that you schedule, we do at least every 90 days, if not more, a follow-up evaluation and document it. Make sure that no changes have taken place in the environment. Maybe they've installed new laundry equipment, okay, or something like that. We need to make sure that there's been no changes. I'm saying, well, I would say whatever you feel is necessary, but for Elwood, we do it every 90 days. In construction, we do it every 30 days. So it all depends on the environment and the liability that could be there, okay? Good question. And if you're going to be placing people in positions where those things exist, you need to know what you're looking at. And the thing that I can recommend is if you don't know machine guarding, go to OSHA.gov and type in machine guarding. It's going to give you a quick down and dirty training, samples, materials, easy to understand to help you get the information that you need to make a good decision. Lockout, tag out, confined space. These kind of things that aren't familiar language, go to OSHA.gov and type in anything you want to know. And it's going to give you bullets. You don't have to go to the standard. It's going to give you bullets and information.
To your previous question, OSHA says periodic inspections.
Mm-hmm.
You don't define it. People consider that to be once a year, but obviously
Thank you. Yeah, periodic, and again, depending on the exposure. Like I say, there are administration, clerical, annual is good, but industrial, machine shops, those kind of things, you're out there anyway. Don't make a special trip just to do a follow-up. You're out there visiting your clients anyway. While you're there, look for changes. Talk to associates. Hey, how'd that training go? Did you not think that orientation was awesome? What? You didn't go through orientation? That's the purpose of doing a follow-up, to verify and make sure that everything looks still in compliance. You don't even have to take your checklist, okay? But make sure that you're following up, and then when you get back to the office, document your visit. Because I tell you, OSHA will ask for follow-ups. They will, trust me.
Did you see lockout tagout?
I did not. But I assure you they have one. Yeah. Questions? Good questions. Okay. Oh. Okay, I wanted just to briefly tell you that if you're not part of the Safety Standard of Excellence Mark family, consider it. It's one of the best things that we at Elwood has done, because we can go into to a client and say, we've received our Safety Standard of Excellence Mark. And they're like, well, what's that? Well, it's the same as a VPP for you, or a STAR or a SHARP program that OSHA does. Oh, wow. Well, yeah, you know, to protect you, maybe you should start asking everyone that you interview if you've received your Safety Standard of Excellence Mark. For more information, go to ASA and read up on it. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. I helped ASA and the National Safety Council put this program together, and it's the best of the best of the best. When you've got this mark, you are operating at the best level you can operate, and you can brag all day long and show certificates and woohoo and just woo your clients to death with this kind of mark. So make sure you go to ASA and look for that. Okay, any questions? Any answers? I've got some questions. No.
I have a situation question.
Situation.
So, and maybe you guys are so we have this client, we don't, I can just talk.
Okay, fine.
Oh, I was trying to be calm and not get much. So, we have this client that we work with, they make wood products, we've never had an injury there. We did stop working with them because they weren't paying as heavily as we would like. So, they decided to call us and I'm screaming, it's all right. I was a cheerleader for 14 years. Good Lord, I've never been given a microphone. So we went back because they requested our services because the competitors were not doing the jobs that they needed. We walked through, the place is dusty and it's dirty and it's kind of gross. Now, I don't see it. All right, there were other things I saw that were unsafe, but the machines have the dust things that go up, but there's dust everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. And then I was told that one of the inside people called OSHA on them, but I didn't see anything pop up. How do I follow up with something like that? Now, we're hoping that someone else will just fill this order and we can politely just say, oh, you know, we weren't able to find somebody because it's just like a one position. What would you recommend from a safety standpoint? I've told them that I'd like to see better training. I'd like to see documentation. I've provided them with forms, but I don't think they have a safety culture. Best to walk away from something like that and just be honest and upfront and say, hey, listen, I really want to see a better safety culture here before I'm able to put somebody in here? Or do I just kind of play nice and slowly walk backwards and just try to find revenue elsewhere?
You know, I would personally ask questions. You know, it's awful dusty, but I noticed that you have your dust control going on, but it doesn't look like it's working. And so can you tell me your PMs on this machine? How often is it PM'd? Who does it? And so we're not the expert. And so when you go up to a machine and you don't know if it's guarded or not, it's okay to say, can you show me the guard on this? And see what they say. Well, it's in the budget. Okay, keep in mind, everything that you see as not an expert and ask questions but don't get a good reply on, or it's going to be fixed or what have you, some action, if it's not in compliance, if we place our people there, we're going to receive the $12,000 to $124,000 citation right along with the client. Okay? So keep that in mind. If you find one area that is non-compliant, but you don't have anybody working in that area, they're all in the assembly department, we can't be cited if we're not working in the department. Okay? We have to be in the immediate department where the violation is occurring. So keep that in mind. Okay? They can't just drag you in because you're a staffing company working for this client. Yeah, but I'm not working in that area. And a lot of times we make that decision, you know, based on the OSHA logs and reviewing the OSHA logs at a high incident rate, looking at all the injuries happened in the machine department, but they only want us in assembly. And assembly looked good. So we'll make a decision to work in assembly, but not the machine area. So you limit your exposure that way, but you're still making progress with the client and even maybe help them. when you go into a situation where they have no safety program, have no safety culture, or a small ma and pa, be very careful, because more than likely they're non-compliant. And if they're non-compliant and we're working there, we're going to be cited right along with them.
What about for those types of positions that they're not always working at the same workplace? They might be going to different work sites, like, for example, quality inspection positions. How do we do an evaluation of that without, I mean, sometimes they're at multiple locations or they're switching weekly. How do you maintain?
Good question. Every workplace, every work location that your associates are going to be working in, you have to do a worksite evaluation. Because they're going to say, how can you prove that your employees are working in a safe work environment? Well, I looked at building A, but they're working in B. It might be totally different. And I know my branches get at me all the time. It's the same kind of work. They're just, there's 14 locations. I'm sorry. Don't do it if you don't want to verify they're working in a safe work environment. Somebody over here? Oh.
So what's yours with sales versus safety? Who mediates?
Well, I sell safety is what I do. I combine that sucker. No, we sell safety all day long. When we can't get in past the gatekeeper because we don't have an appointment, that HR person, we'll go in and ask for the safety manager, and they don't turn safety away. Oh, I'll get Bill right now. Okay, And we do safety blitz, okay? So our safety people do not do the worksite evaluations. Our salespeople do. Our business development managers do. Our branch management staff does it. Our area directors do it. So operations does the worksite evaluation because they're making the placements. And we approve it or
So they
not.
want to make that one person sale, the sales team, and you guys hear about it 3 weeks later what happens?
No, we approve every worksite. Every single
anybody's
client.
site.
Every new client has to be approved by risk and safety. Every single one. So it's because keep in mind, this is a legal document that I'm going to use to protect the company. If there's questions on here that aren't checked off or are not right, then that is going to hurt us. So I will come back to whoever filled it out and ask additional questions, And so every work site is approved by risk and safety.
Prior to agreement.
Prior to sending a single person out there, period. It has to be approved by risk and safety. It's approved by risk normally. If there's issues with risk, they send it to safety. And then we ask additional questions. Question. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do a lot of food service positions.
Yeah.
And so we'll fill last minute jobs, and I'm quite sure these individuals don't show up and get any sort of orientation walking into a dish room because somebody didn't show up, and so they're coming in late.
Yeah, not good.
How bad is that?
Yeah, that's real bad.
Okay.
That's real bad. That cannot happen because if they don't know emergency evacuation, if they don't know proper PPE, if they don't know where the safety data sheets are, that can get you in a lot of trouble, especially if OSHA comes 30 minutes later and they ask them, tell me about the Right to Know program. Huh? Huh? They're not going to know.
So OSHA has a policy that temporary workers deserve the exact same training, onboarding, PPE, education as an internal employee.
Yeah.
So even earlier when the representatives from Gaylord were here, they said, well, we do all this, but for our temps we have a light program. That's an issue. That's a deal breaker. If your people aren't getting anything, that's a huge liability for you guys.
We had somebody tell us, well, sometimes they just go off after the first day, so we don't bother doing it. Like, well, they'll actually stay if you train them and treat them well. They're more apt to come back if they just stop
Yeah.
lying.
From a client perspective, they don't want to invest the time and energy because they don't know if they're going to stick. But flipping it like that is beautiful because maybe they're not sticking because you guys aren't investing in them and training them and giving them the right tools. Oh, this is what I do 24/7 for my company. Regional safety manager. Yeah.
So true story. Last Friday, 3 crushed finger possible orientation. We're still waiting. 21-year-old female. All right. We sent her out there for an interview. HR was busy doing payroll, so they sent her to the floor to the supervisor, who the supervisor thought, oh, I'll put you to work. Now, we were looking at placing a press operator, not a brake press, a punch press. 2 different things, okay? No experience at all. They took her to the brake press where that happened. I got on a plane, flew to the client, and I said, show me your orientation. Oh, they took me to a computer. Oh, it was awesome. Okay, show me her test. Show me her paperwork. Well, a lot of times we don't know if they're going to leave after 2 hours or so. So we always wait until after lunch to see if they're going to come back. Really? You're fired.
She wasn't even assigned, right?
No. Do you fire clients?
Absolutely.
You're fired. Okay? I didn't say that to his face. But number one, when I called him up from Texas asking questions, oh yeah, it's guarded, it's guarded. When I saw it, it wasn't guarded. There was no orientation. So, accident investigations, critical, not part of this presentation. But thank you.